author Ms. Anita Agnihotri. We also have with us two eminent writers, Ms. Shubhra Shah and Ms. Jash Sen, who belong to our very own Kolkata. We thank you for taking out your precious time to be with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, we begin with the first inter-school literary meet of Sri Shiksha School, Words on Wings, where expressions take flight.
Literature speaks the language of imagination, and the study of literature is supposed to train and improve the imagination. We begin today's program with the auspicious ceremony of the lighting of the lamp. May we call upon our chief guest, Ms. Agnihotri, Ms. Shah and Ms. Sen to kindly come up and light the lamp of knowledge. They will be accompanied by the heads of Sri Shiksha School. Thank you, everyone.
Music is the divine way to tell beautiful poetic things to the heart. Up next is a melange of songs which will exude the magical and enchanting power of words. Annie's song was written as an ode to Denver's wife at that time, Annie Patel Denver. Denver wrote this song in July 1973. It had topped Billboard for 2 weeks. This song binds together nature and man's bonding. The second song, Words, by Bee Gees, later covered by Boyzone, talks about words. Words possess the power to make one happy as well as sad. Our Secretary General of Shiksha Foundation and Sri Shiksha School, Ms. Bhattacharya, Principal, Ms. Tandon, our Chief Guest, author Ms. Agnihotri, authors Ms. Shah and Ms. Sen, to kindly come up and take their seats on the stage.
We are honored to have with us today as our chief guest an accomplished author, Ms. Anita Agnihotri. We request our Secretary General, Ms. Bhattacharya, and our Principal, Ms. Tandon, to kindly felicitate her.
Anita Agnihotri is a promising writer from Kolkata. She studied economics from Presidency College and later from University of Kolkata and University of East Anglia, UK. Her writing spans across all genres: short stories, novels, stories for children, poetry, essays, and commentaries on development. But short stories are very close to her heart. Ms. Agnihotri has authored over 40 volumes, including 7 novels and over 200 short stories. Her work has been translated into many Indian languages: English, German, and Swedish. She has received several awards, including the West Bengal Bangla Academy Award, Sahitya Parishad Samman, Sarat Puraskar, and the Bhuvan Mohini Dasi Gold Medal from the University of Calcutta. Ms. Agnihotri joined the IAS in 1980 and retired in October 2016 after 36 years of meritorious service. Her writing is about the unheard realities of contemporary India and the muffled voices. We thank you for gracing us with your presence, ma'am.
Today, we have amidst us 2 eminent literateurs. We would like to invite the author, Ms. Shubhra Shah. May we please call upon our Deputy Secretary General, Mr. Agarwal, and Chief Financial Officer, Mr. D'Souza, to kindly come up and felicitate her. Ms. Shah did her schooling from La Martinia for Girls, Kolkata, and her college from St. Xavier's, Kolkata. She has taken vocational training to be a psychotherapist from Cornish Lifestyle Management School in Kolkata. She also has a keen interest in the healing of the body and mind and believes that one is interrelated to the other. Her journey with the children gave her deep insight into the psyche of children and developed an interest in storytelling. Her first book, Leatherback's Big Win, has been appreciated by many educators. Currently, she's working on another story, but this time for adults and young adults. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. We would now like to invite the author, Ms. Josh Sen. We request our principal, Ms. Tandon, and our headmistress, Ms. Mukherjee, to do the honors.
Ms. Sen graduated in statistics and then completed her MBA from IIM Kolkata. She worked in the IT industry in Bangalore and the US before opting to teach mathematics in a London high school. This was when she started writing in her free time in earnest. She began the Word Keepers trilogy in December 2010. The Word Keepers, the first book in the series, was published in January 2013 and its sequel, Sky Serpents, in October 2013. She is currently working on the third and final book of the trilogy, Soul Army. Ms. Sen recently concluded a translation of the early 20th century Bengali adventure classic, The Akshaya's Treasure, by Sri Hemendra Kumar Roy. Other than this, she has written the odd article for newspapers, magazines, and blogs. Thank you, ma'am. We would now like to invite our principal, Ms. Tandon, to kindly come up on stage and address the audience.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first literary meet of Shri Shikshatan School, Words on Wings. Why birds on wings? The name. Because they say the books are the plane, the train and the road. They are the destination and the journey. They take you home. They make you a wanderer, a philosopher, a thinker, a poet. They give you hope. They give you belief. They help you to dream. And they give wings to your dream, hence words on wings. Since morning, I noticed that in our school, there was so much of excitement. It was very palpable. Of course, we all understood why it was. Because generally children, they read books. Very rarely do they get an opportunity to meet the writers. And today, we have three eminent writers with us. We have Miss Anita Agnihotri, we have Miss Josh Sen, and we have Miss Shubhra Shah. Could we have a round of applause to welcome them all? We also welcome the members from the media. And of course, a very, very hearty welcome to the teachers and students of the 34 participating schools. A round of applause for all of them. Some of them are on leave, the schools have closed down, and still they are here. So let me talk a little about this literary meet, a brief outline I'm going to give. So basically, it is in 2 days. Today is day 1, and day 2 will come a little later, perhaps in the month of November, and we'll inform you about it. So what do we do on day 1? On day 1, the first round is an interactive session with the writers over here. Thereafter, children as per the groups, that is group A and group B, would be taken to the respective areas, and there they're going to write a short story. 10 topics would be provided, and they can choose to write basically either use a pen and paper and write, or maybe perhaps a computer and write. So it's up to them, we'll give them a choice. Let me tell you, when they write, they pick up these scripts, that is these sheets, papers to write on. After they have written, all of them will get coded, because they have to go to the judges who will decide the winners. So they do not get to know the names and the background of the children. They will just base their decision as per the stories. Meanwhile, the teachers, you'll be taken to an area where we have a very pleasant surprise waiting for you. We have an interactive quiz game, and there are prizes too, so we hope to keep you equally busy along with the children. Hope you enjoy that. What about the day 2? We are going to select all good stories, and after that they'll be put in a book form. And for this idea, I need to actually congratulate Mrs. Bhattacharya and thank her for giving us this beautiful idea. A round of applause for Mrs. Bhattacharya. For the last 2 years, she has been asking me to get this going, and finally we are doing it. I hope there may be a few errors here and there, but by and large, we hope to be a success. And of course, with 34 schools participating, we hope next time we have at least 50 to 60 schools participating in this meet. It has a very, very simple format. So thereafter, the books which are printed will be sent to your schools, and also to you as well, if your story gets selected. So write a good story today. It is a very special day, and we hope by holding this meet you are able to bring our students and the writers closer to books. In the end, I'm sure some of you must be remembering the famous lines written by Roald Dahl. And why do I say this? Because your holidays are around the corner. And there is a message from my side to all my children of Sri Shiksha School and to the visiting children. So what is your holiday homework? Well, it goes like this. So please, oh please, we beg, we pray, throw your TV sets away, and in its place, you can install a lovely bookshelf on the wall. So read and read, young and young adults alike. Happy reading and enjoy the day today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your encouraging words. We look forward to the fun-filled and exciting events of the day.
We would now like to call upon stage our Secretary General of Sss-Senior Foundation and Sri Sss-Senior School, Ms. Bhattacharya, to share her thoughts with us.
Good morning to our chief guest, Ms. Anita Agnihotri, me Chattopadhyay, our guest of honor, Ms. Shubhra Shaw, and Ms. Jasudhara Sen, and she is known as Josh, but she told us that her name is Joshudhara, and nobody calls her by that name. And she would definitely like people to call her with that full name, Joshudhara. So then I'm addressing you as Joshudhara, though your popular name is Josh. And Ms. Agnihotri told us that, she was Chattopadhyay, and now that she's become Agnihotri, people know her as Agnihotri. Well, this story writing session or, story writing is something which I treasure. And I think I have been, making demands, I would say demands. And who fulfill those demands? Ms. Tandon and Mrs. Mukherjee. Every time I say, we need to have this and that, and we've been trying to have this literary fest for the last couple of 3 years. And this time, when we started our academic session, they told us that, we are ready. And we are going to have it in the month of September. Though I said, why not in the winter? Because then, we can use the garden and the weather would be different. So, no, we don't have time. We will only do it in the month of September. So being the principal and the headmistress, I have to say yes, because I have to listen to them. Otherwise, they will not have it. So anyway, we are happy that we are able to hold this literary fest. This is the first of its type, at Sri Sss-Senior. This is another chapter which has been added to our story, a story which started in 1920 with having only 2 girls in our school at Bara Bazaar. I keep repeating, why do I repeat this? Because that is the beginning. How did we start this school? With only 2 girls, begging every family to send their girls to school so that they learn, they know how to read and write. What happened to those families? Those families were told, well, you cannot mix around with people because your daughters are not allowed in the society. But people who started off, one, Mr. Jugal Kishore Birla, the elder brother of G.D. Birla, and Sitaramji Saksaria, who's a social worker, they did not stop. They started getting students. After 1,000 students, they started the Sri Sss-Senior School in 1954. We are already 66 years plus senior citizen, but we do not stop. We keep adding stories after stories, and today it's a new story. What does story tell us? It gives us ideas, it helps us to reflect, and that is why we have to keep writing. In fact, I would also like to share that, what does it do? It empowers people. And that is what we are looking at. We want girls to be empowered. We want all our resources to be empowered, be it students, be it teachers, be it staff members, be it us, be it our parents. We want everyone to get opportunities and be empowered. So, words on wings. You can fly when you make it meaningful. Everything has to be meaningful, and we want that such ideas come out in your writing, and it can be anything which I'm saying because it's words on wings, something which will allow you to fly. See what comes out in your writing. Wish you all the best, and thank you once again, Mrs. Tandon and Mrs. Mukherjee and the entire team for taking this dream ahead. And we want this book, which will be published, will be there in every school. Maybe we are doing this regionally, we will do it nationally and maybe someday internationally. And there will be a shikshayatanreading.com where people can go and read these books and stories. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for being here, giving your time. Thank you. Though we have an interactive session with the two young artists, but I would say it is, it's very difficult to get Miss Agnihotri, and she's here. Even she would be sitting in the dais, you can still ask questions to her if you want, children. Thanks a lot, and thanks for coming, and all the best to all the participants. Don't look at winning, just give the best and right. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your motivating words. We are honored to have with us today author Miss Anita Agnihotri. All of us are very excited to hear from you, ma'am. Let us all put our hands together for Miss Anita Agnihotri.
Good morning, everybody. Secretary General of the institution, Ms. Bhattacharya, and the writers and guests, and our principal and mistress of the school, and all the teachers and participating schools. I'm very, very glad to be here. I traveled all the way from Mumbai to be here today, and essentially because of two reasons. That seeing you is such a matter of delight for me. When I write stories for children, I write for children of your age group. And when I was a young student myself, I started writing. Things were very different then. You were in a school, an institution today which is an institution for excellence. It not only teaches you as per curriculum, but I understand the objective is to make you all-round human beings, good citizens, and the school also is interacting with institutions abroad for better learning. All these are great opportunities, and I am sure this will develop you into fine human beings. But today is a very special day. I am glad that what you are having today, the first literary meet with so many participating schools, is a meet and it is not a competition. It's very interesting that you are not calling it a competition, because in literary expressions, in creative expressions, there cannot be any competition. The more you write, you grow, you come outside of yourself, you go beyond yourself, and then not only you discover yourself, but also the larger society. And in the present time, we need more creative artists, writers, artists, intellectuals to take the society forward. I remember we were so fortunate that time in our younger days, we did not have the web media, we didn't have internet, we did not have e-books or Kindles. We could only think of writing in print media, but we had a wonderful guide. Many of you know him as a legendary filmmaker, Satyajit Roy, but he and author Lina Majumdar together were the editors of children's magazine Sandesh. And when we started writing there, me and many youngsters like us, they nurtured and guided us from behind. And I remember that between the age of 12 and 18, whatever I wrote was published there. I think that is something, that kind of nurturing and guidance is required when a young person wants to grow up to be an author. I won't say much because there are other authors present here too, but standing here in Kolkata, I would just like to speak maybe 2 lines in Bengali, remind you about a poem written 138 years back by Rabindranath Tagore when he was staying in Shodor Street, Kolkata, and after a long gap of, I would say, a writer's block, a depression, he suddenly discovered one morning that the world has changed, a glow of light has unveiled the entire world for him, and that is where that is when he wrote this beautiful poem, Nirjhore Shopno Bhango. Aji e probhate Robir Kor, Kemone Poshilo Praner Kor, Kemone Poshilo Guhar Adhare Probhat Pakhir Gan. This beautiful poem shows that when an individual, a mind has awakened, then first it tries to break the barriers. The stream tries to come out of the cave. Then it wants to destroy, break the barriers and come out. But when it comes out, then it sees the world and it wants to, where the stream says, Ami dhalibo koruna dhara, compassion and understanding for the entire world. I think we can think of this poem today as a very special message from Rabindranath Tagore, and realize that when we are in creative expression, when we are writing, when we are reading, we are taking along with us the entire society, all our people, and we are the ones who write history. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, so we finally begin with the much-awaited interactive session of the literary meet. We request the moderator of the day, Ms. Shobha Shom, to kindly take over the proceedings.
Ms. Shobha Shom is a veteran teacher of our institution and also the head of the department of the English Department of Middle School. Can we hear it from Shobha Shom, ma'am, please?
A very good morning to all present and a very warm welcome to Shri Shikshayatan School Inter-School Literary Meet. Words on Wings 2019, where expressions take flight. Well, we have here for you, it's only words, and words are all I have to take your heart away.
Smile, when I was asking, smile, a spark in ringing.
a brand new story right now, right at this moment. This morning, I stand here very proud and privileged to have been given this opportunity to be a part of this session with such eminent personalities. And may I take this opportunity to invite Ms. Sen to read something out of her book. And
good morning. Can you hear me? At the back there, just raise your hand if you do. Lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you at the very outset for having us here. We are blown away by your school, your beautiful auditorium, every single creative detail that has gone into making this so beautiful, so big, yet so very intimate. I must say I have never heard a school choir as accomplished as yours. Before I read, I would like to thank the principal and the organizing committee for having thought of me. Thank you very much again for having me here. So this is from my second book, which is a sequel to the first one. And I'm going to read the prologue. And I hope you find it interesting. I write for young adults, so you are exactly the age group I like interacting with. Although many people have told me that it's really a state of mind, not a state of age. So for all the young adults in the audience, here is my excerpt. Many, many eons ago, the din was unbelievable. Who knew that a churning could produce so much noise? Milky white waves, many feet high, crashed upon the shore with ferocity. No one was injured because every man available had been drawn into the ocean to churn. Pull left, then right. In the center stood a long, narrow mountain peak, kissing the heavens. It was now moving clockwise, now anti-clockwise. Slowly the peak was building up speed. The waves were frothing. The armies at both ends, innumerable men, pulled at a thick, leathery rope. No, not a rope. An immensely long snake coiled around the peak, its two ends being pulled in opposite directions, faster and faster. The air was heavy with the gasps of the men, moist with their combined sweat. They were close to exhaustion, but still they pulled. There was no stopping now. The snake had vomited earlier because the churning had made it giddy, nearly killing them with its venom. They'd been narrowly saved by the wild-looking man on the shore who had calmly drunk all the poison floating on the sea foam and still remained standing. Everyone wondered how he had survived, but there wasn't much time for speculation. They had to get back to the churning. Pull left, then right.
thank you, ma'am. Now, may I invite Ms. Shah to read something from her book?
Good morning, and thank you so much, ma'am, Sangeeta ma'am, all the faculty members, everybody around, for having me here. My name is Shubhra Shah, and I started writing at the ripe age of 45. So my message to everybody is, it's never too late, and learning never stops. I started reading late. I was an average student in school, and I used to struggle with my English. It was only that I started reading in class 11 and 12 that I started getting better in my English. And so everybody over here who's struggling, I tell you, don't give up. It's okay. marks are not everything, and parents should not just expect marks from the children. I mean, there's lots more to life. So I wrote my first book, Leatherback's Big Win, 3 years ago, and it holds many messages. Always my motive is to write a story in which you take home something, because who wants a lecture? It's so boring. All the time parents are saying, do this, do that. Teachers are saying, do this, do that. But we can learn a lot from books, and books always show you a situation, and always to read how did someone else deal with a situation. It really helps you in your own life. My second book starts with a chapter called Misunderstanding, because most of us live with a lot of misunderstanding about a lot of things. This story, Leatherback and the Strange Place, I just released it on Saturday. Ma'am Tandon had been very kind to come for the launch. In this, it's a fiction, adventure, mystery, everything put together, but also it has a lot of lessons on kindness, courage. Kindness is a very important factor which is fast depleting in our society. Everybody wants to do something for someone and want something in return. How many of us just do something just to be kind? Have you ever thought of that? I'm just reading a small, mothers are very important to me, because I've been a single mom to my 2 children since 15 years now. So I always put the mother factor in my books. So this is from Ulusa's story. It's a subplot in the book. Ulusa screamed half the night away till he collapsed, only to be woken up by his mother's gentle caress on his face. In his delirium he murmured, "Mom? Mom owl?" But there was no mom. The gentle caress was the drizzle that was falling on his face. Perhaps his mom was caressing him from up above. He woke up with a start. His mother had just whispered in his ears, "I forgive you. I love you." "Mom, Mom," he whispered back, "I love you too. Come back, come back." He screamed this time. But the body which lay in the nest did not get up. With a heavy heart, Ulusa buried his mom in the most beautiful nest with her favorite flowers and weeds, and made a shrine for her. Again he heard a whisper, "I forgive you, son." He looked up at the sky, startled to see that one of the clouds had taken the shape of his mother. He had not forgiven himself, even though his mother had. Forgiveness. A mother never fails to forgive her child. And then I just read out a small mother's poem, which is my favorite. On page 75, yeah. It's my favorite poem from the book. In this book, there's a parrot. It's a crazy parrot, and she just breaks up into songs. It's all part of the story. It's a matter of a mother, not some other. We must take a stand, take things in our hand. The umbilical cord is not so cheap. It costs blood, bones, sweat and sleep. A mother tears herself apart to put her child from the womb to her heart. She strives all her life to nurture, sustain, to give till she's alive. She bleeds for her child. That's not mild. She inspires, She defines, she creates us. Our goddess, our shrine. Find her we must. And let's not condone this act. Seek it. Let's break it apart. And stamp it to dust. Get her back. Find the mother we must. That's all.
Thank you so much. Let's all clap for Miss Sen and Miss Shah. So beautifully they have brought forward books to us. I was very fortunate to have gone with Miss Tandon for the book launch, and we had some very good experience there. Well, ma'am, our students have a lot of questions. One very important question is that what we see is you have referred to Kurukshetra and Parashuram and in your books. So when we deal with mythology in our books, what kind of research work should we be doing?
Well, I don't know about should, because I can talk about what I did. The Word Keepers was my first book that got published, but I had, been writing stories for a long time, and I still have like a diary full of 6 sort of half-developed ideas over the years, and it's there somewhere in my bookshelves. And one day, I confess I was looking through my old mythology section. I own a lot of books. I grew up in a house full of bookshelves, and I own a lot of books myself. And there were these Amar Chitra Kathas, and I was just trying to see how much more I could find out. And nowadays, of course, we have Wikipedia. But I had some other books as well, in Bengali, a few in English. And I started with that as a process. But the first thing I think that came to my mind was that we have so many stories, about, at that time, we had so many stories about Krishna, about Ram, about the leading characters in Indian mythology. But I always found that there was this great grand mystery, or what seemed very mysterious to me, about the immortals in our mythology. And there are 9. And these immortals are known because they're familiar characters. There's Hanuman, there's Ashwatthama, there's Mahabali. You can find out about all of them if you just hit Google. Nowadays, I think most people don't ask questions, they just research. So that was one of my processes. But the germ of the idea was, why not a story that talked about these characters? And why not a story that talked about some of our mother goddesses? So that began the basic germ of the idea, and then kind of I wove a plot around it, a time around it. It's really like a spider's web, and that's part of the fun of it. So yeah, that was the start of it really. I thought I was writing a short story. I didn't even know what I'd taken on. And then 3,000 words became 11,000 words, and I said, oh, okay, this might be more, this might be 30,000 words. And then I looked at it and said, oh, no, this is 2 books. And then someone said, actually you're wrong, it's 3 books. And so on and so forth. It just became what it became.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone from the audience who would like to ask Miss Sen something? Yes.
Ma'am, can training make a person writer? Sorry. Can training make a person writer?
I don't know whether you're talking about formal training or tuition classes or coaching. I think one of the best ways is to look at writers who existed 100, maybe 200 or 300 years ago, time immemorial really. What I think makes a writer is practice, definitely, is reading other great writers, pen and paper or a laptop, which is your instrument, and the willingness to play, to be creative without thinking about what others might say, or whether it is something that will bring you anything. So, you know, we grow up in schools, colleges, post-graduation, everywhere. We are very used to hearing and very used to being competitive, as Miss Agnihotri just mentioned. Now, creativity is the opposite of that. You have to be okay with doing whatever you do, creating whatever you create, and improve it bit by bit. Now, I know that there are workshops and creative writing classes, and I run a few as well. I'm not going against that. But I believe it can only complement your journey. It is not your journey. Your journey is your own. And yeah, so yes, maybe a little bit as a crutch, but please don't think that it will make you a writer. What will make you a writer is you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, Miss Shah, as we all know, we always grow up doing the standard things, you know, going to school, going to a nice college, and picking up a good job. So where will you place writing in a typically standardized lifestyle? Writing, creative writing, friends.
See, as ma'am just said, writing is your own journey. And somebody who wants to write will find time to write. So I'm doing my day's work, and my mind is churning, and I'm getting crazy ideas. So I take my phone and I leave voice notes to myself. And in the night, when everything does settle down, at one point your whole day does settle down. So then my priority becomes to write something, whatever my mind has been. Like just now ma'am was talking about something, and it just gave me an idea for my fourth book. Thank you. I'm just thinking now, I'm just going on, you're talking and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is a fantastic idea I've just got. And I'm just going to go home and pen this down. So it's about penning down. I have now, before we had these small notebooks, now we have this crazy smartphone. They are not smarter than us though, huh? We operate them. And we know when to close and shut the phones down. So the phones should not control us. We control the phones. So I write, I speak, I write crazy hours. I can just write anytime now. It's all about priorities.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Any questions? Yes, Abhinanda?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Abhinanda Mukherjee. I have opened a YouTube channel to make the people aware about the increasing rate in which we are polluting everything around us, and the urgent need to protect the environment. Ma'am, I'm also interested in writing, so could you please tell me how can I get into journal writing?
Hi. See, when we are putting YouTubes on awareness and we are telling people about pollution, which is a big problem now with the global warming and water decreasing, and somewhere the sea is rising, somewhere the sea is decreasing. I'm confused what's happening myself. We waste water. When you are writing a journal, your own personal thoughts are very important. So read. It's all about this kind of writing is based on research, of course. You need to have your facts. You need to have your figures. But like ma'am said, that this is also again your own personal journey. Writing is something very personal. If you read about J.K. Rowling, you know that she was depressed half her life. She had, I don't know what kind of training, but look what she produced. And even Roald Dahl, he wrote quite late in his life, and he used to pick up villains from real life. Like in my book, there are some people who I've actually met. So when you're writing a journal, it cannot be fiction, obviously. It cannot be like non-fiction, fiction. It has to be facts and figures, and you need to find out what's happening in which country and how the government is doing what. And that's how you're going to write it.
Abhinanda,
Thank you, ma'am.
may I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Who's your audience, are you writing for an external audience, or are you writing for yourself? If you are writing for yourself, a journal is fine. But if you're opening a YouTube channel, my recommendation, because you're starting out on a journey on trying to understand how to pollute less, and your learnings will change from day to day, right?
Yes.
So one of the things to do is to have a public vlog on your day 1, day 2, day 3 towards that journey. So whether you're starting out with, I'm a fellow believer in the cause, so I've done a few things, but let's say you shift from plastic toothbrushes to bamboo ones. That could be maybe one small section, and another day you could talk about maybe something else that you've changed over and how it's working for you. Because there is so much research there are lots of people who are doing a lot of work on fact-finding that can inform your journal, but people will not come to Abhinanda's blog or journal to find out about research. They'll come to hear about your journey. So your personal take on it becomes very important when you keep it personal.
Also, I feel what you can do is you can start your own drives, small drives in your area, and give out examples like absolutely how straws are getting banned, and now we are moving to paper straws. So these are the good examples for other people, and of course you can reach out to illiterates who are actually causing a lot of this. Your journal or your YouTube might not reach them also. So I think physical availability with a group of friends or whoever believes in your cause can really help you spread the awareness, right?
Actually, I'd just like to say something. I don't think we should ever say that pollution is being caused by any particular community or group.
I didn't mean it in that way, but of course, it is a very big cause.
All kinds of pollution is a very big cause.
Yes, but I feel that somebody who is not aware would be causing it more. I mean, it's a general thought. Like, if I'm not guiding somebody who's throwing things on the road, it could be like because they are just doing it.
Often very aware people do it.
Pardon me?
Often very aware people do it.
Right,
So
of course. What I meant was that she can reach out to the people who cannot open the YouTube.
Thank you, ma'am.
Miss Sen, I believe you have taught in school. And that
Yes,
too, she was a maths
for a long
teacher,
while.
a mathematics teacher for more than 8 years.
Yes. I used to teach in the UK.
Yes, in the UK. So, a mathematics teacher, generally, we associate writing with literature, language. How did you change your...
Well, actually, you're probably aware of the fact that maths and music often go hand in hand as abilities and are often part of the same neurosynapses in our brain. I was always musical, I was always a bit mathy, and I always loved literature, and I had to pick something, and I got through to English literature and I got through to statistics. And my dad said, statistics, Lady Shri Ram College, please take it, it'll pave the way for your future and all of that. So I took it and I went ahead with that and my MBA, which was sort of the other half of my brain. And there came a time when I wanted to write, and that was that. I really think that these attributes are not as separate as you may think they are. If you like something, just go ahead and practice it.
Ma'am, the children, they're a little wary of certain things. Like, they were asking me that suppose my first book is unpublished, or I go halfway and for some reason my writing remains incomplete. What would you like to tell to these young writers?
Well, first of all, you're talking to somebody who's gone through exactly all of this. And I think most writers have, and I don't think you should be afraid. See, the thing is, what the main question is what you're interested in. Now, what is the part that you like the best? Is telling a story or writing a story the part that you like the best? Or is it the, ooh, I'll be famous and I'll come and take prizes and I'll say thank you to everybody? Is that the prize part? Because if you really like the writing part the best, or the storytelling part the best, then you'll do it. And because you will do it, you will get good at it. And because you'll get good at it, you'll get published. But if you think, I want to get published, then if you don't get published, you'll get demotivated. Or if you and this, incidentally, I'm not preaching, I'm guilty of all of these myself. But finally, you have to ask yourself, what is it that I like? Do I like telling a story? Do I just like to sit down and do it? If you like it, you'll do it. I mean, that's why people who really like sweets are often very good bakers. Because they like it. I'm not one. I'm a rubbish baker. I don't like sweets. I don't like food much. So I'm not any good at it. It's not my life's ambition. But I like telling stories. So that's what I do.